Can everyone see me and hear me? What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me in my garden and joining in for this Instagram Live with Sierra Club. And I'll wait a few minutes, but just to make sure everyone can get on okay. But yeah, for those of you tuning in or like who know me on my space and page and stuff, you know how much sorry, my hat's driving me crazy. You know how much I love my garden and how important it is to my family and our kids and how much we love gardening. So I am so glad. Hey, Creative Writer 44, I'm glad you made it. So I'm so glad that everyone is tuning in because this is really, really cool. It's been a passion project of mine. And I started it just a few years ago, so it's something that I'm still learning as I go, and I love it, and as I do it more, I love it and love it more. So since this is in collaboration with the Sierra Club, I thought I would start just by talking a little bit about who they are, and I thought what I would do is just quickly read their mission statement. And Sierra Club for me it's just something that I've always grown up with. I grew up in the Bay Area until I was about 13. And the Sierra Club is something that my family always supported. And it's something that was always something as a collective in our family that we would support. And so I'd love, rather than me butcher what they do, I thought I would read their mission statement, which is to explore, enjoy, and protect the wild places of the earth, to practice and promote the responsible use of the earth, ecosystems, and resources, to educate and enlist humanity to protect and restore the quality of the natural and human environment, and to use all lawful means to carry out these objectives, which I just think is so badass. And so just really quickly, I know that everyone is under quarantine and things are rough and tight, but if anyone has a chance to donate to Sierra Club, I know that they're doing this is usually like their biggest fundraisers around Earth Day, so anything counts. And then I know over Now and Jen, we're working on maybe doing a challenge where it's grow something, or maybe we'll match part of the donation, so stay tuned for that. But now to my garden. Okay. So thanks again for tuning in, and hi. So I'm Jen Padalecki, and so since I am at my chicken coop, we'll quickly say hello, a quick hello to everyone. Since we started with the chicken coop, which is kind of funny that we didn't start with a garden, but we actually started with a chicken coop. And growing up, we grew up with all sorts of animals. We've had everything from horses to chickens to snakes and rabbits and all kinds of things. You name it, we probably had it as a kid. But one thing in particular that I really remember that was really fun for our family were having chickens. We actually started raising chickens when we moved to Montana. Sorry, it says my connection's bad. Anyways, so we started raising chickens, which was super fun. And so it was a memory I had as a kid that was fun. And when we had kids, it's something I always wanted to do. And when we moved out to Austin, we started having plans in our yard for where we'd build our coop. So we built this fun coop, as you can see, and we'll see if there are any eggs. And then afterwards, I'll show you the garden. Sorry, this is our other resident, Dave, our bunny connection, and I don't want to mess it up. Okay. So it looks like we have fun. I forgot my basket, so I'll leave him here for now. But this is super fun in the mornings when the kids come in here and they collect the eggs and bring it in for breakfast. It's definitely the best way I can say to eat your scrambled eggs. This one is Dominique and this one is Smalls. Name that movie. My kids just saw The Sandlot recently, so. Okay, so let's start. So started with a chicken coop, and I thought that was really fun. And then once we developed the coop, which is obviously a nice luxury home, and for these spoiled little hens. We had this area that we kind of flattened and started with 3 raised beds. So I don't know if you can see, we have these 3 raised beds that we started with. And we started with this first just to see and have fun with it. And I think at first it was mainly greens that we started with. Super fun, and we would get our vegetables, and it was just kind of trial and error. I think half died, and some were kind of janky, and some were survived. And we realized like each bed is different, and we would take the soil out in between plantings and then discover that, oh, like tree roots are growing in one of the beds, and so you have to then line it with special liner. And thankfully I have wonderful mentors at Resolution Gardens who help guide me through this. So I don't know if Stevie's on here, but Stevie helps me with all of my questions and resources. So these beds here are our main 3 beds, and as you can see, this one is thriving a little bit better, and I think it's because there's no tree obstructing and eating all their nutrients. Whereas the largest bed, unfortunately, is right next to an oak tree, and I think that the oak is sucking up all their nutrients, so it's been a little bit trial and error. And so what we decided to do was just put pollinating plants in there for now, so that they get a fair amount of sun, but at least they're thriving just enough to attract pollinators such as bees and butterflies and whatnot. So that's been really fun because we also have a couple of beehives in the backyard. So that's been fun to watch all the different bugs, and then the kids really, really enjoy it. Someone keeps asking where Jared is, but he's over there manning the kids. But it's been really fun for our family to do this together. It's something I had no idea what I was doing, and the kids would come out here and then they'd be in the dirt and digging and finding new bugs and things that grossed me out that then I have to get tough about and pretend like it doesn't bother me so it won't bother them. But it's been really fun. And then the more gardening that I've been doing and the more research and books that I've been reading, the more that I find out that dirt is actually really good for you, and it's actually good for your whole system and your microbiome, I believe, because there's something in it where it helps your gut and your immunity. So it's kind of a funny thing that you can actually tell your kids to go in there and get as dirty as they want. It's really good for them. So these ones, I don't know, I'll talk a little bit about the beds too. These beds that we have here are wood beds. We just sort of fooled around planting different things, and then I think it was into our second season we decided to build this cool trellis and have, I think last year we had cucumbers growing up it, and then this year we planted some peas. I got a lot of awesome seeds from Baker Creek Farms out of Mississippi, and they are phenomenal. So I'm really excited to see how these guys do. It's always funny to see like what side's doing better, and what, you have to kind of piecemeal it together and see what you're doing right and wrong. And then really quickly too, at the end of our beds, we built, I say we, but thankfully Resolution Gardens, I was begging them to help me with the compost after I saw The Biggest Little Farm, which I don't know if anyone got to see that movie, but that movie for me was incredibly inspiring and just made me want to jump for joy. I was so excited. After watching that movie, it just made me want to buy a farm and have all kinds of animals and produce going. But one thing in particular that I thought was really cool about their farm was their vermiculture, which is a worm compost. And truthfully, like, that actually really freaks me out because I don't particularly enjoy touching worms or getting close to worms. They just kind of freak me out for whatever reason. So I kind of balked at it for a second, and then I begged them, like, we got to do this. It's so good for the soil. So we created, Stevie from Resolution Gardens built this awesome compost for me. And I'm sorry because the fruit flies are a little bit crazy right now with the heat we have in Texas. But this is our worm compost, and you can't really see anything. I don't know if anyone wants to see the worms, but right now I covered it with newspaper so that the fruit flies won't touch all of the compost that we have in there, all the vegetables and the fruit and stuff. So it'll deter them from coming in, and it'll let the worms do their thing. And then this is the cool part, but underneath the worms is this special area, these bins. If you can see in here, sorry, the fruit flies are kind of gross. But if you look in here, this is all of the worm poop that gets brought down and spills through, and this is liquid gold fertilizer. It sounds really gross, but it's phenomenal, and it's actually, we've done tests and put it on some plants, left some alone, and this is very helpful in helping your plants grow and getting nutrients and stuff. So it's been awesome. It is gross. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's awesome. And yes, my kids love, especially Shep loves digging in here and getting worms. So that's fun. And I'll bring you to our little station because our kids do love coming out here. We're out here pretty much every day, and we have this little gardening bench that we set up so that they can go to work. And I think for us, gardening, I can be a bit of a perfectionist with things, and I, like, in my heart, I want a Martha Stewart type of garden. I want it to be all perfectly aligned with these beautiful hedges and stunning, but that's just not reality, and that's not how plants even grow and live. So we kind of like ours go and get it messy. So in this section here, I kind of let we let them do whatever they want. So that's kind of how we have it set up. Excuse me. I hope no one's tried to eat a worm. Although my brother did once for $1. So what we do is I set up stations when the kids want to come out here and just plant seeds. This is cow pots, which are phenomenal. These are great. They're made actually out of cow poop. And what you do is you can stick seeds in here. So you'll see the kids were experimenting, and these are also cow pots. We planted some seeds, and these are radishes. And then what you do is you just plant it right in the soil so you're not wasting plastic. And, contributing to pollution and more plastic. So these are fantastic, and they're really easy to order. You can order them off of Amazon, which is actually what we did. So yeah, this is kind of it's a bit of a mess, so I apologize. The station that we have going, and this we bought off of Wayfair. It was super easy to assemble, and had the kids drill and put it together. And then we have all of our seeds out for when they just want to try and grow some things. So I really like this Baker Creek. They've become my go-to, and love using them for their seeds. They have all these heirloom seeds too. So we have a bunch of peppers out because my husband loves hot peppers, and he really wants to do that hot wings, I think it's called hot wings challenge. And so we have a couple of these hot ones that we've been trying to plant, like the death spiral, and they have all kinds of cool stuff. You go on their site and it's just like seed porn. Excuse me, but it's just so cool. We also planted, I'll show you, some really cool corn. Stevie was at Resolution, was challenging me didn't think I could grow some corn, so we're growing some corn. So we have some, I forget the name of it, but one is basically like navy blue black corn, and one is like a bright red color. I can't remember the name of it, but it's pretty badass. And so this is rows of corn that are currently doing their thing, and hopefully will pollinate and we'll have some beautiful corn kernels, which would be amazing. So this is the main area of gardening, and trying to think if I'm missing anything. I think, again, like, I'm not an expert. I just really love the connection between food and you know, what we eat, and the connection that we have with our food. So to me, like, growing your own food is something that is very hippy dippy, but it's near and dear to my heart, because I want to know what I'm putting in my body and have some hand in it and feel empowered to grow something that I really love. And so it's been trial and error, and I'm certainly no expert. I mean, literally just the other day I was posting something about lettuce grow, and they quickly contacted me to tell me that it looked really weird. My plants looked really weird and I must have a pH off in my water, which they were totally right on. So, you know, you learn something all the time, and it's super fun. So gardening for me, like, it's like art. You should go out and you should try it, and have fun with it, and just plant whatever you feel up for. Like these blackberry bushes, I just saw them in a nursery and thought they'd be so fun to grow. And it's been about a 3 or 4 year, probably 3 years, since we planted them, and they've just kind of exploded around the garden, and I can't wait till they sort of take over, because it's wild when the flowers start sprouting and then the blackberries start growing on the end. It's really fun. A lot of people keep asking about the bees. So I can take you out there, but let me, before I take you out to the bees, which will be the last part, let me show you just a few other ways that you guys can grow. You can grow in other ways. Sorry, I'm reading at the same time. Some people are asking how you check the pH balance. That's actually a really good question. I know how to do it actually on my, sorry, bad connection for a second. We have terrible internet. So I know how to check it on my lettuce grow. We have a kit that came with it. And I've actually just bought something to check the pH balance in my soil, which I will have a trial and error with, and I will explain it. With the lettuce grow, here's the lettuce connection. So for those of you who don't know about the lettuce grow, sorry guys, I hope that's working. As they're made out of recycled milk bottles, and they have all these types of different varieties of vegetables and fruits and flowers that you can grow in the lettuce grow. And I'll reference this later in my stories. But you could grow anything you want. So it's really wonderful if you don't have the ability to have a backyard, or you don't have beds that you can, you know, put a lot of plants in, but you really want to grow your own vegetables or fruits or whatever. The lettuce grow is fantastic because it can go on your patio. It can go in limited amounts of space. It's awesome way to grow. And then again, the recycled factor being that they're all from recycled milk jugs, I think is really, really cool. One other thing that I do want to show you, but my internet's so bad, is the fact, is the way that you can grow indoors, which is, there's several ways. I mean, you could do things like succulents and that sort of thing, which are fun. But also there's this really cool contraption that you can get easily on Amazon called an arrow garden. And there's a lot of different brands and varieties. And the arrow garden is very cool because it just lives on your kitchen counter, and it has a grow light on top of it, and then it reminds you when you need to feed or water your plant, and it can do it automatically too. So it's a really, really cool, really easy way to grow your own vegetables, and I think in ours we have a salad growing, we have some herbs, we have some basil and dill, but there's so many different varieties that you can choose from. So that's also really fun because there's not much that you have to do and you kind of are guaranteed to grow something. So I'm going to quickly walk out to the Beehive. And it's not Arrow like ARROW, it's AEROGARDEN. And you can find it on Amazon. That's where we bought ours. So I'll quickly take you out to the bees just to show you. But in the meantime, when I walk over there, are there any questions that anybody has or anything that I can answer? I kind of get really excited about my garden and growing my plants. Sorry, our dog Coda sees a deer. And I nerd out, so apologies or not apologies, because I know you all tuned in for that. So, you want to plant in a window box? Well, you know what's actually great with that is seedlings, if you can grow inside, and then if you could transport them to a small container, and if you have a way just to have them on your windowsill, just make sure that you can make them, this is a good question, sorry, south facing. I believe if they're north facing that they won't get as much sunlight, so you want to have them south facing. It's not hard to keep a beehive. It's actually not hard at all. I'm going to be blurry, but I will do my best to show you. It's actually really easy. You just need to make sure that they have enough water, and that they have food sources nearby, and no hive beetles. Our last hive we had, my friend Jessica Robertson got me my last hive, and that was the first one we had. They kind of take over the hive. For the most part, the bees can ward them off and attack them, but in this case, they took over. I'll post some pictures because I don't know if it worked. But anyone have any questions? I don't collect the honey myself. I'm not confident enough in that. I do it with a company called Bee Weaver that helped where I found the bees. What is my favorite rewarding thing to grow?
What's for what?
What's the most rewarding thing to grow?
You like picking up the cauliflower, corn. You like seeing the corn.
The corn was really fun last year.
Yeah. Jalapenos are fun because the kids like to kind of.
The jalapenos were really fun. Although don't touch your face after that. We learned the hard way. With, I think it was Shep or Tom. Any suggestions on things to plant alongside carrots and onions? I think onions are good container plants, and I think potatoes go well with them. This might be a Stevie question. Hey, Terp Stitched OR3, like, get lost. I don't even know why you're here. What's a good plant to start gardening with? I think easy plants are tomatoes, usually. Peppers are usually, I mean, here in Texas, they're really easy because it's really hot. Someone just said garlic. I haven't tried growing garlic, but that would be next on my list. And then anything else? Any more questions? Anyways, thank you so much. Gardening for me has been a big passion of mine, and I've loved just learning along the way and sharing it, and I really appreciate collaborating with Sierra Club, which is definitely a dream of mine, so this is really, really cool. And thank you. Thanks for joining along. And sorry, I'm just reading the comments. Anyways, I would love to see everyone else's gardens and what people are growing, because this is how we learn. We learn as a community. I know that I'm constantly reaching out to friends. I'm actually on a couple of different threads with friends asking about chickens and like sore chicken feet and feathers, or how to garden this or that, or my tomatoes are green, how do I make them red? So I think it's really important to have your community and keep talking to each other. So the more that you guys post and the more that we learn from each other and exchange ideas and stuff, the better, and the more that we learn and the better gardens that we can grow. So thanks again, everybody, and I can't wait to do this again. All right, bye.